the lawyers who took the case off of the Indiana unclaimed property.
I don't care what the lawyer who represents a company that's going to get a piece of the action tells me. That's why we're here today. So just let me understand this. When your father died, you got $10,000.
Approximately, yes.
And when your father died, you got $10,000.
Yes.
And when her father died, she got $10,000.
Her father.
I said, follow me carefully.
Sorry, Judge.
When your father died, you got $10,000.
Yes.
When your father died, you got $10,000.
Yes.
When your father died, you got $10,000.
Correct.
All right, so now sort of could go either way. So I have a couple of questions. Benjamin Dennis Ingram. Look at me.
Yes.
Benjamin Dennis Ingram was your father.
Yes.
How old was your father when he died?
2007. I think he
How
was like
old
56.
From the time he was 40 until the time he was 56, in what state did he live?
Indiana.
Who did he live with?
His last years before he passed away, he was actually in...
Not the last year.
Okay.
When he was better, when he was 40 and 50 and 60.
Indiana.
He lived in Indiana.
Yes.
And you lived in?
That time, Philadelphia.
What about your aunts? Did they live in Indiana?
Judith lived in Indiana. Cynthia lived in Florida.
Who was with Benjamin Dennis Ingram when he died?
My Aunt Judith.
I was.
You were.
Yes, I was taking care of him when he got sick.
And when did he get sick?
3 years before he passed away.
Did you move to take care of him?
We stayed in the same state. We both stayed in Indiana. So I just took care of him while, when he got sick.
Well, what do you mean? You stayed in his house, you came to see him every day, or you just called him on the phone?
He had
What does that mean?
dementia, so I wasn't able to move him into my house. So I just did what I needed to do to...
How long did he have dementia?
I'd say probably about 3 years before he died.
And in the 3 years before he died, how many times, Miss Ingram, how often did you see him? I'm going to ask for specific. I'm going to ask for specific dates. In the 3 years before he died, how often did you see him?
I would say 2 times.
In the 5 years before he died, how many times did you see him? Let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 46.
Who do you live with?
Myself, my daughter, and my grandchild.
How old's your daughter?
She's 18.
And how old is your grandchild?
He's 10 months.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a credit analyst.
In the 10 years before your father died, how often did you see him? I want you to tell me on my hands. Did you see him 10 times?
In 10 years, I would say the first 5 years before he got sick.
In the last 10 years,
Okay.
how often did you see your father?
Not often.
In the last 10 years, how often did you see your brother?
100 times.
In the last 10 years, how often did you see your brother?
About 5 times.
Never.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I didn't live in the state.
Who was your father close to? Well, you don't know.
I did
Who
my
was-
Aunt Judith.
I took best care of her as I could.
Aunt Judith, right?
Yes.
So, was your father a nice man?
Sometimes.
When you say sometimes, sometimes not.
Well, we got sick with dementia. They changed their personalities, so.
I'm not talking about when he
Okay.
got sick. He had a first 55, 60 years of
definitely a
life.
good man. The hard-working family man, yes. When he was married to my mom, he was a good man. I would say that.
Were you a good daughter?
Yes, I think so.
Maybe.